Estás escuchando Barbarian Noetics Podcast, el podcast más chingón, más cabrón, más perrón.
He's unhinged, he's unpredictable, he's utterly out of control.
Yo, I was gonna attend a freakish and grotesque hazing ceremony with a bunch of overcompensatory, emotionally delicate young men from my fraternity Beta at the University of Bizarro State, but then I decided to tune into Barbarian Noetics, and now I realize I've wasted my entire life eating mayonnaise-based sauces, watching formulaic and painfully overproduced Marvel movies, being video game brainwashed by the Department of Defense, and worshipping poorly understood, inherited libertarian economic mythologies. Never mind the fact that the unyielding allegiance to private property at the expense of everything fucking else was a major impediment to ending chattel fucking slavery. Durr. Anyway, now all I want to do is learn to move my hips and discover the secrets of making pupusas. Barbarian Noetics Podcast. Totally worth the existential crisis. Dance through it, bro. Dance through it.
This is a special message for the Love Doves. I want to thank you for listening to the Barbarian Noetics Podcast. I hope that Goddess blesses you in every way and keep on activating that human spirit.
Fellow dancers of the universal dance, all hail the dance, all hail the dance. What is the dance that we hail? Cumbia, 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 doth giveth round lunar booties and banger clubs adjacent to top shelf taco stands. Thus it is, bailarines, that we groove to funky Latin beats, and in the groove we doth find our salvation. And so, what is the dance that we hail? Cumbia.
You ever feel like your brain just ain't working right? Maybe you stayed up all night at an underground rave and now you're trying to edit audio and you got bass bubbling out your toes. Or maybe you're just struggling to learn some shit at a, quote, institution of higher learning, unquote. Which, let's be honest, in late-stage capitalism is more like an institution of higher earning, am I right, for the intellectual wing of the ruling class, who do the dirty work of rationalizing imperialism and naked aggression in the pursuit of status quo slaughter profiteering for the already rich. And we all know, when you be rich, you're trying to stay rich. And humans get pretty dirty in the name of protecting their wealth. But I digress. Sometimes your dome piece just ain't working right. And in times like that, you need an ally, a helping hand, a guardian spirit for your psyche. Well, love doves, introducing Magic Mind. Magic Mind has all of the good things. And honestly, and I've said this before, and I will say it again, I feel as though this product precipitated directly from my own personal adaptogenic and neurotropic wish list, with delectable and high-octane components such as lion's mane, again, my personal favorite non-psychoactive fungal ally, rhodiola for clarity of thought, bacopa for that chill, focus, and calm, and then of course the oldies but goodies, ashwagandha, powerful ashwagandha, nerve tonic, that you are, and cordyceps keeps you running, keeps you enduring, just friggin' keeps you going. The cordyceps rock. What I'm saying here is that Magic Mind is essentially the nectar of the content creator gods and goddesses, especially goddesses. And that's why y'all should get into some Magic Mind. Get in. Do you want your mind to soar like little Raven's mind after a wee hour Amazonian medicina love snuff? Well, let me tell you. Use code BarbarianPod20 at www.magicmind.com/barbarianpod, and you will get 20% off at checkout for this elixir, this magical potion. You can add it to a smoothie. You can add it to a juice. You can take it straight up. I'm not going to judge you. No one else is going to judge you. And honestly, just get it in you, because it's good stuff. We all want that lion's mane in us. We really do. Whether you know it or not, you really do. And the cordyceps. Oh, baby, give me the cordyceps. I love me some cordyceps. Cordyceps, it's 2 a.m. right now, love doves. You think I'd be going right now if it wasn't for cordyceps? Are you effing kidding me? You really think so? I mean, I actually did stay up all night last night on Underground Rave. That wasn't even a freaking skit. I mean, it is a skit now. So this is a meta skit. And I'm still going. Why? Magic Mind. Magic Mind, baby. Use code BarbarianPod20 at www.magicmind.com/barbarianpod. Get that 20% checkout. Remember, use your power for good. You are the love doves. You are the dragonfly dreamers. I adore you all, and I wish you all golden light, luz dorado, and positive things. Pensamientos positivos. Positive thoughts, positive things, productive stuff. Working, loving, romancing, sexy time, whatever it is you want to do, Magic Mind has got your back. And literally it does. For gentlemen, cordyceps, it does for gentlemen. So, just saying. Magic Mind, baby. Let's go. All right, here we go. Gimme Magic Mind. Gimme Magic Mind. Gimme that Magic Mind. Yeah. Use code BarbarianPod20 at magicmind.com/barbarianpod for 20% off at checkout, and ascend to the heavens, my friends. Ascend to the heavens. All right. Well, that's it, and that is that. And man, let me tell you, it really takes some practice to not feel like a total maniac when you're sitting in your apartment 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night in the barrio, screaming at yourself about Magic Mind. It really takes some practice. And to be honest, I might possibly be a maniac. I might be. It's something I've had to come to terms with. And, you know, I'm a lot of things, and I might also be a maniac. So, God love us all. And I'm going to give a special shout out right now, because there's a gentleman in New York City that's listening to this right now. Zen beef, baby, Zen beef. What's up, everybody? Oh, I did the thing which I always do, which I forget to put the background off. Holla!
Right? Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Yak Stream. Welcome to Rim Country Radio. This is Rim Country Radio right now. My good brother Deus.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's good to see you, my friend.
Hey. Yeah,
For
this
a
is like
second, I
the
thought.
this is like
Wait,
the
what?
Rim Country Radio, the embryo.
This is the embryo Rim Country Radio. For a second, I thought we were going to have a technical difficulty because on StreamYard it lets you mute and unmute, and your mic was muted, and then I hit unmute and it wouldn't let me, and it said your guest has selected to mute himself, and I was like, oh, I hope he knows he's muted.
Just some tech gremlins.
Just some, not even. Those are tech. Well, those are the happy gremlins. You know,
Yeah.
there's gremlins and there's gremlins. But yeah, brother,
How's it
it's good to see your smiling face. And
Thank you.
today we're going to be talking. Welcome to all the Yak Packers out there, by the way. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting the stream. Love you guys. Shout out to Rockfin. And I'm feeling very solid, Deus. I'm feeling very solid. And
Good.
I wanted to start things off by invoking some of the vibes like that I'm feeling. And why, well, there's many reasons why I'm feeling so solid, but one of the reasons is I've been doing a lot of dancing. I've been
Okay.
dancing. Yeah. So like yesterday I danced almost all day. I went to the park and I had my kettlebell and I was just dancing at the park to some cumbia.
Nice.
Yeah, working out, getting the sunshine. Like, I
Yeah.
really appreciate the fact I grew up in a cold ass, dreary, crowded city.
Chicago, right?
Yeah, which I love many things I love about Chicago. I love Chicago blues, you know, but
The food.
yeah, the food is good only because of like each neighborhood has its own regional character. You know what I mean? Like the whole I don't oh, I'm gonna piss some people off right now. To each their own. Everyone to each their own. But deep dish pizza for me is too heavy. It's too much cheese. Too
The
much
deep
cheese.
dish pizza, but there's also, I mean, it's not. I don't think it has. There's just good Italian places there too, as far as like
Excellent
if you want-
Italian.
if you want to get like genuine Italian, you know, where they're not
Yes.
putting like necessarily just sauce on noodles.
Right. And Dave knows what he's talking about because you used to be a chef.
I did, and it may not surprise a lot of people, but a lot of Italian food is, go figure, it's seafood
Yeah, right?
because
Fancy
they're on
that.
their entire country's on a peninsula,
Yeah.
so they're
Just
surrounded
like
on
Grecian cuisine
Yeah.
too.
they're surrounded on three sides by water. So a lot of authentic Italian food is pretty light, and it's seafood based. A lot of like eel and stuff even too. The northern regions are the ones that develop the pastas and stuff. The ones in the more mountainous areas, and they were growing a lot of wheat up there and stuff. And it caught on because it's tasty to a lot of people. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for
I mean,
sure. Got that
three-quarters-
Mediterranean diet.
3/4 of Italian food is like any other Mediterranean. Spain, Greece, Morocco, Egypt, like any of those regions are all seafood based because
So, Deus, I have a question for you because you're a chef. You used to be a chef.
Yeah.
For the love doves out there, some love doves are not able to eat seafood. Is there a way? What's the best substitute if you can't eat seafood?
we'll just
You
eat a lot
substitute-
of poultry basically.
Chicken, right?
Yeah, well, and chicken was. I mean, you can also like if you're gonna really get deep in.
Poultry. I got you.
Yeah,
Poultry.
like you can.
not
Yeah, there's
chicken.
turkey, and there's also like dove. Like at specialty
Yes.
shops, you can still buy dove and pigeon. Like, and when I say pigeon, not like gray pigeon, but like wild pigeon. They're
Wild
usually brown
pigeon.
or brown or white, and they're tasty.
Yes,
And
it's
then,
it's so funny you mentioned that, Deus, because we're going to be talking about survival and thrive. Survive and thrive. This is Survive and Thrive 2024, baby. 2024
Yeah.
is going to be fucking nuts, everybody. So
2024 is going
and-
to be off the walls.
Yes, and so this is a Survive and Thrive podcast, and I got some stuff to say. Dave's has some stuff to say in the chat. We got Elizabeth in the house. What's up, Elizabeth? And I'm gonna feature some of Elizabeth's thoughts as well, because we friggin' love Elizabeth over here at the Yak Pack. Elizabeth, day
Mm-hmm.
one Yak Packer for life, and we're gonna
Cool.
feature
That's
some of your
cool.
stuff. Yeah, and but the so it's interesting you say that about the pigeons, brother, because so I am a loving man. I love animals. I truly do. I love animals. Animals are amazing. They're so sweet and cuddly and awesome. And but
I agree.
I'm also a human, and so I'm also kind of a little bit of an apex predator. And for a long time I denied myself the meat, the carne, for a long time. And it wasn't until
Yeah.
mi amor, the Mágica de Mexico, introduced me to carne asada tacos. Not introduced me, carne asada sushi. That's what did it. I had already known about carne asada tacos, but
Carne asada sushi.
yes, it was the carne
That's
asada
pretty wild.
sushi. That's what broke me. Cause I was being like, I was like, oh, I'm a pesco ovo fucking whatever tarian. And then I had the carne asada sushi, and I was like, fuck, dude. I
Yeah, I
love
don't know about
meat.
this.
I love meat.
Well, can I say something about that? Well, so the truth is that there's not a vegetarian animal on this planet. People, how they separate them into carnivores and herbivores and omnivores. Carnivores eat meat, herbivores eat plants, and then omnivores eat both. Well, the truth is that all animals are omnivores. So it's not a single animal that won't eat meat given the opportunity.
Wait, wait. Hold on, you lost me. Cows don't eat meat.
They'll eat meat.
Isn't
They'll
it
eat a
bad for
chicken.
them? Isn't it bad for them?
I've watched videos
It's hard for their
of
tum tums. I thought it's hard for the tum tums.
I've watched videos of a horse eating chicks off the ground,
God,
just eating them up like they were Skittles,
there's
like, and the mom's freaking out. And I've also seen a video of a deer eating a field mice,
there's
and I
something
mean, just
really awful about that.
so it needs to be small enough. Like, I don't mean that like a deer will hold an animal down and tear its flesh off
Oh my
like a bear would,
god.
but
Okay.
I've seen a video of a deer eating a small field mice. If an animal can eat it in one bite, it will. And like, what do you call bugs? Are bugs not animals? Like,
Yeah.
any animal will eat a
But
bug.
but the bugs have they got that shit, the what's it called? The skeleton or whatever. There's a term for it, and it's
Exoskeleton?
yeah, but there's a term for it. Oh, and it's on the tip of my tongue. But the bugs have it, and that's the thing that is kind of sketchy with humans
The-
just gobbling a bunch of bugs. Is they got this exoskeleton
well, yeah,
shit,
and
and some
I'm not
humans,
suggesting to eat bugs. In fact, I won't eat the bugs. That's not my thing.
yeah,
The
fuck the
whole.
bugs. Well, no, not fuck
I'm
the
just trying.
bugs.
Look,
We love bugs here.
all I'm trying to say is that
Bugs are the base of the food chain,
I mean they are.
but I don't need to eat them.
All I'm trying to say is
Sorry.
that no, it's all good. All I'm trying to say is that like uh there's not all animals are opportunistic. Every one of them, every single animal on the planet will eat meat. It's just that like a deer doesn't have like a predator instinct inside of it. It doesn't have the equipment anyway to like hunt something down and
Yes.
consume it. And you're correct. It's not like a deer or a horse or a cow's, you know, a digestive infrastructure is set up for like consuming large quantities of protein. But all I'm saying is that like animals will eat each other indiscriminately, pretty much. And the whole herbivore versus carnivore versus omnivore thing is a fallacy. Like all animals are omnivores. Plus, I'm sure you've seen dogs and cats eating grass. Like
All
wolves
the
and
time they do it for their when their tum tums are upset.
yeah, and wolves
They
and
eat the
tigers
grass.
they'll do the same thing. Like bears eat berries, So like predators will eat plants, and uh quote unquote herbivores will eat other animals if they're small enough. Like obviously, like I said, you're never gonna see a deer hunt down like a rabbit and then like tear it to pieces. But I have seen a video a hunter took of a deer lapping up a tiny little field mouse. Just ate it up in one bite, like just stuck its tongue out and like and just like one bite it was
For
gone.
real? For real?
For real. And the one
Damn,
with the
dude,
horse,
you're blowing my mind right now.
the one with the horse eating up the chicks is like easily you can find that on YouTube. It's like got,
I
like,
don't know
12 million
why
views.
I find that so funny.
Yeah, the horse
don't know
just
why I
standing.
find it so funny.
He like
It's like it's
this-
corn.
This chicken, a chicken walks through the horse pen, and the owner has a camera. And he's just filming, just in general. And the horse, you see the horse start smelling one of the chicks, like the last one in line, and he just boop and eats it up in one bite, and goes for the next one. And the chicken's freaking out, and that's when the camera guy, puts the camera down, and takes action because he's like, oh shit, he's eating the chicks. But like,
Damn.
yeah, all I'm saying is that like, yeah. So all
and
this BS
so
anyway.
that gets into the survive and thrive mindset. So I'm going to start things off by talking about the mindset of survive and thrive. Because I know that mental health is so foundation. It is the foundation. It's everything. And I know from personal experience, from my own trials and tribulations, fucking duking it out with depression and anxiety and shit. By the way, all the love doves out there, I'm off the farmers, baby. I've been off the farmers for like 2 months now. 2 months off the farmers.
Yeah, congratulations.
And to be honest, yeah, I feel really good. And I've been taking matters in my own hands, dancing, getting out in the sunshine, doing exercise, spending time con mi amor, and just like living life and fucking killing it. And so the mindset for survive and thrive is like, okay, we need to make sure that, because what the horrible asshole parasitic rulers want is they want us to be in a state of mental fragility, and they want us to be like freaking out all the time. So like they want us to be like watching the news and freaking out about this or that. Like the Holy Bible says, wars and rumors of wars. Rumors.
What they want is they want us dependent on them. That's the whole point, is to get us dependent on them. I mean, outside of like a mass depopulation agenda that could exist as well, but
yeah,
but they which I'm totally would not be surprised, if they were like, 7/8 of everybody on this planet could just get out of here. Like, but outside of that is like some sort of end state. They just want us all, dependent on them, because if we're dependent on them, then, they pretty much control us.
Fuck yeah. I just want to give a shout out to, we got a couple love doves in the chat. We have Elizabeth is in the chat. Freaking love Elizabeth. What's up, Elizabeth?
What's up, Elizabeth?
And Shim is in the chat. He's another day one yak packer.
That's cool.
And Shim, so let's see. Elizabeth says, regenerative farming is the answer to eating meat responsibly. And
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Totally agree with that.
And also, yes, regenerative. There's a whole piece to that. But like, if we also need to just stop growing corn everywhere.
I know, right?
Just
Shim
part
was
of
helping us out
regenerative.
with the poultry, talking about quail.
Yeah,
And
quail.
also
Another good
rabbits.
one.
Rabbits are not poultry, but rabbits are delicious.
That's a good one if you're not eating fish. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Shim also says he was never on Big Pharma. Oh, Elizabeth says, me too, off the Big Pharma. Fuck
Good,
yeah.
good.
Good job, Elizabeth. Dude, this
Yes.
is exciting, you guys. This feels really
Yes.
good, actually. Feels
I don't
really
even
fucking
take,
awesome.
I don't even take Tylenol personally.
Shim said was never on the Big Pharma, so good for you, sir. And then Shim says, fear, isolate, divide, especially between man and woman, the family. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right about
correct.
that. The ruling class.
This-
Yeah.
It's a trinity. It's a holy trinity. The thing is that like that's the whole point of propaganda and fear campaigns. Is it drives people into the bosom of the beast. It makes people it makes people scared enough to like to hand over a certain degree of their freedoms. That's the whole point of like the Hegelian dialectic, is it like you synthesize an event and then you synthesize a solution to the event, but in order to get there you have to pay a cost being your some of your freedoms,
Right.
or your liberties, or however you want to view it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that the tree of liberty has to be watered occasionally with the blood of tyrants.
Yes, it does. It sure does.
It sure does.
Is it tyrants?
I think so. The blood of tyrants? I think so.
It's either tyrants or patriots.
Well, I would prefer to water it with the blood of tyrants.
I like that version better.
Yeah, me too.
Let's save as many patriots as possible.
Right? Exactly. We're just here trying to vibe. We're trying to vibe on this beautiful planet and this beautiful place. This place is fucking gorgeous.
Also, to be clear, in my mind, a patriot is anybody that stands up for the community that they have come to call home. Like, and I mean that, and when I mean to come to call home, I mean that like the rest of the community calls them a neighbor as well. Like everybody has established themselves together, and like it's got, because you're going to be willing, you're not a patriot until you're willing to die for, in my opinion, for the home that you have created, so
right on.
If you're willing to die for your home and neighbors, then yeah, you're patriot.
So segging back into the survive and thrive, and it's funny that we started so long ago on this tangent, and now I'm going back to it when you were talking about pigeons before. So I like to I pray to one of the saints that I pray to is Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi was the man.
Cool.
Or I'm sorry, wait, San Francisco de Assis. And he was
what's he all about?
He was all about vibing with the animals. So he was like a very like loving saint, and he would like, the animals would come and hang out with him and stuff like that. And I love animals too.
I think I might be aware of him.
So and he also did this really, there's a really beautiful prayer, let me be the instrument of thy peace, which I probably should have brought that up, but did not, but I didn't know I'd be talking about it. So that's why I didn't bring it up. But yeah, San Francisco de Assis. Anyway, so I feed the pigeons, everyone. I'm an old man at heart. I'm a young man. Yeah. Young. I embody youth, but I kind of have an old soul a little bit. So I feed the pigeons. I have a flock of pigeons, and I love my pigeons. But the thing is also that I consider that my protein garden. So, and I love them to death. I really do. They're so sweet. They just go like, coo, 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 and they eat the little things. And it doesn't cost me all that much to pick up some wild bird seed, throw the seeds out to the pigeons, and now I have a protein garden. Yeah. Like, and they're fat too, because I'd be feeding them good. And if I have to, like, I will like say a prayer, I'll be like, thank you, little animal, because I do appreciate it. Like every time I eat meat, I always do like thank the animal, because I'm very appreciative. Because once I started eating meat, I started feeling better, Daves. I'm telling you. Like, I feel more energized.
Not surprising to me.
I've been eating a lot of bison. So I like getting organic ground bison.
You want to know, like, kind of my view on the whole animals dying for you to live thing? So, because I've thought about that quite a bit, because the kind of chefing I did was not like a TGI Fridays. It was like I worked at fancy places, so we would like I did butch. I learned a lot of butch. Like we would get like whole animals in and then break them down. Fish the size of dinner tables, whole sides of cows, and like whole pigs and whole chickens and stuff. And you know, so I had to, you know, kind of like cut a lot of animals apart. I haven't killed a
Yeah,
lot of
fuck.
animals. I've done a little bit of hunting, but not. I've never shot like a mammal, like a big. I've shot like
Deus
a
is a
bird.
good shot though. Deus is a good fucking shot.
I am. I've
Yes.
shot birds and stuff, but I've never shot like a deer or something. But like, first when I was like 16, I started cooking in like fancy places. I worked at a place with a chef that was very good and kind of like a badass in the 70s in LA and stuff. Like he showed me some old magazines he was in and stuff. And like he taught me something that was really cool. He told me when he started showing me like proteins, like how to cut
Yeah.
up like meats. He turned to me and he said, and I remember this to this day, 20 years later, that I'm not allowed to mess up when I'm handling proteins. He told me, and this is like
Oh
a
wow.
65-year-old. Yeah, it's like a 65-year-old, you know, old school chef. Like
Yeah.
probably could make Gordon Ramsay scared. And like he's like, if you're not allowed to
Damn.
throw away meat, you're not allowed to throw it away. You're not allowed to cut it the wrong size, you know, because we cut it into portions by ounces and stuff, you know. And he's like, you're not allowed to drop it on the floor. He said an animal died for this to exist, and you need to respect that. Uh, and I've always appreciated him saying that to me when I was 16, and I've always remembered that. Literally every single time I've cut an animal apart, like for work,
Yeah.
and I've dropped very little. You know, I'm a human. Drop one or two, maybe a year. That's acceptable. But
Right.
like,
Human error.
and what you do is you dust it off and eat it for yourself. That's what I would usually
Ah.
do. You know,
Right.
because our kitchen floor was pretty clean, especially at a fancy place. But anyway,
Mhm.
so how I pay homage to the animals that die is that I make sure that I'm living in a way that is acceptable, like to myself, and that like the energy that I am like now that I have now commandeered from that dead animal, like, because what you're essentially doing is you're essentially taking the life force of another thing. Like you killed it,
Right.
and as you consume it, and as the others that consume it along with you, like you are fueling, sustaining yourself. You know,
Right.
and so
Right.
like uh is and to me, as long as you are uh putting that energy that you have stolen to good use, and let's be real, you stole it. You just snuck up on that thing, shot it in the face, and stole its energy. But as long as what you're putting the stolen energy to is of good use,
Mm.
then that's homage. That's you. That's you are actively praying to. You're actively paying homage to that thing's life by instead of. So what I mean is, don't just eat a big steak and then sit down and watch the football game and get all fat and do nothing. Like, don't just like eat the big steak and then like do nothing but just drink beer and be lazy all day. Like, eat the steak, yes, but then go fix your car, build a house, or like work at a soup kitchen, or like, you know what I mean, or get a better
Yeah.
job. You know, whatever. The point is that like, progress yourself, progress your community, like put that energy to something that matters. Otherwise, that thing died in vain. And that's like kind of how I view it. If you sit around and be, a lazy piece of shit and just consuming, then like, fuck you. But if like because we all need to consume, but as long as you consume responsibly and then like, then like, it's alchemy. As long as you turn that spiritual energy into something good, then, and that's my whole view on it. So to
So
me,
we have a couple. I just want to say that's very beautiful, Daves. I find that very beautiful.
I also believe that plants have feelings. They do. If you've ever
They
read
do. No, they absolutely have
if
feelings.
you've ever read any actual books on it that like are totally grounded in scientific fact and not talked about because the people that don't want to believe it can't explain it because the people that conducted the research were very credible. I'm talking about a book called Secret Life of Plants.
Yes, that's a great book.
And plants are way more intelligent than we think. So I think it's funny when vegetarians give me shit. Or I've never been gotten shit, but I think it's funny when if and when a vegetarian gives shit to somebody that eats meat, and it's like you have no idea whether or not that plant screamed when you like cut it down. Because according to hard fucking science, it very well may have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, and I know for a fact through plant medicine experiences that I've had that like plants definitely have emotions, spirits. They're living things. We live inside of a living organism. That's like what something that I've discovered in my heart, en mi corazón. Like we live inside of a living organism. And yeah, I found everything you said really beautiful, Daves. We have some comments from the Yak Packers. So Elizabeth says, yes, prayer of thanks to and for the animals, especially as a food source. I do the same. Elizabeth says, consumption is the way of life in this realm, so best to be a good steward and have gratitude. Yes.
Well, and also be a proper bridge. Like if you view it like you're just a conveyor for the energy, because you're gonna die, and then that energy is gonna go to something else. You're just a conveyor. Convey it to something good. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? The enemy.
That's the importance of purpose, which segues into my mental health foundation of the Survive and Thrive. Is you have to have a purpose.
You gotta have a purpose. I just want to say to finish that last thing up. We all saw Lion King. Circle of life. It's like, we're all just literally just like conveyors for the energy going around the circle. So make sure it goes in the right direction and not, don't spend it on bullshit.
Yeah, there's also the whole thing like don't throw your pearls to swine or whatever. Like don't use your energy for nonsense, or especially not for like things that are gonna drag everything down. Because I'm interested in like the beautiful things in life. That's what makes life worth living.
It's all
beauty,
beautiful,
truth, justice. And yes. Well, that goes deep, Dave. Okay, so back to the survive and thrive. Okay, so I got my rock pigeon protein garden. I have sprouts. Sprouts are because I live in a city. I live in the industrial district of a desert city, no less, right? So I'm very concerned about water for sure.
Things grow well out here.
They do because of all the sunshine.
You just got to protect them in the summer, but yes, yeah. Because plants don't care about the temperature. They don't care if it's 115 out. As long as they have like a sunshade, they're fine.
The shade, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the direct sun in the
With the direct sun, they'll die in one day.
Yes.
But like as long as you have the shade, like it's not like because plants will be in hot houses that are like 120 degrees, so they don't like care that it's hot out. They just care about that like sunlight. It's like a fucking goddamn like a microwave to them.
True story.
But anyway,
I'm a huge proponent of sprouting your own sprouts. So you can get sprout packs. They're available all over the place. Y'all can figure out like the best, most ethical or cheapest or whatever you want to do way of getting organic. Make sure organic, non-GMO, because they're probably putting mRNA in anything that's not specifically said. At this point, it wouldn't surprise me at all. If it doesn't specifically say non-GMO and organic, they're probably putting mRNA exosomes in it at this point.
You come from where you have connections to, apparently, it would seem, like South America regions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have access to like seeds from those areas that are maybe like things that are not Monsanto, like fucking GMO'd?
Yeah, I'm building those bridges.
That would be cool. I mean, if you just found like some farmers down there, like, because they probably got like all kinds of seeds.
Yeah, Latin America, Central America, South America. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
I mean, I know that I'm very aware that like the major agricultural companies, have like totally fucked around in those places quite a bit. But maybe Maybe there's
But
not.
they've been, Mexico has been fighting really hard against Monsanto. They've been fighting really hard against it, and
Sorry
Monsanto
about
is
my
just
cough.
always trying. Oh, you're all right. Monsanto's always trying to fucking get in there and fucking GMO everything, and Mexico's been telling them like, no, fuck off. And that really, I listened to an audiobook about Emiliano Zapata, and it was the Zapatistas. They were all about like preserving the natural way of life, like preserving the right of like organic farmers to farm organically. And that is still, gracias a Dios, Mexico is still fighting back Monsanto. But yeah, Monsanto's just always at the border, just like, fucking, we're going to GMO everything. And they're just having to fight
Yeah.
it off. So, yeah. But
Monsanto, they're like the actual evil empire.
they're all, I think it's all the same, like at the top of the pyramid, it's all one evil empire.
Monsanto's just like particularly bad.
They're
Uh,
particularly bad.
they uh was it in Brazil that United Fruit started a war to
No,
like
that was Guatemala.
in Guatemala? United Fruit in like the
Yeah,
fucking 30s or whatever started a war
yes.
like
It was in it
to
was in the
drive down the
50s.
price of pineapples.
It was in the 50s, and what happened was the Guatemalan
So
people
mean.
elected a gentleman named Arbenz. I believe his name was Jacobo Arbenz, and he was
Okay.
going to nationalize the fruit so that he could use the profits to benefit the people of Guatemala.
Yeah.
And basically, the United Fruit Company got together with their fraternity brothers at the CIA
Which still exists
and
today,
did,
United Fruit.
yeah, and they did like a fucking horrific dirty war coup d'etat horror
Yeah.
show in
They
Guatemala. They were
overthrew a fucking
dropping
government.
people, yeah,
A
dropping people
government.
out of helicopters to terrorize them, and a bunch of
This
the,
is a private corporation, by the way, to the audience. This is like if Coca-Cola went to another country
yeah,
and overthrew their government.
right.
Yeah. So continue. Keep going.
Well, that's the shit
Oh,
that's the shit that goes down. And then
yeah.
our three-letter, what's up, Kyle at the NSA? I hope you're enjoying the stream. Our
Hello.
three-letter agency friends are fucking helping them out like with this. But we're gonna focus today. Oh, the helicopter. The helicopter just came. That's so funny.
There you go.
Anyway, survive and thrive. Survive and thrive. Okay, so survive and thrive. We got sprouts, sprout your own sprouts for veggies. Protein garden, you can be creative with that. Because, like you say, Deus is a chef, and rock pigeons, actually, they're good eating. Good eating. They really, truly are. If you keep them healthy and they're fat and
Plus,
yummy.
if you're privileged enough to actually own like whatever thing that you live on, if it's a house or if it's big and even smaller, like a townhouse or something, even if you have like some sort of yard, like even a small one, if you own the property, then it's really easy to keep chickens. I mean, like they practically raise them. They practically, multiply overnight, and they're super easy to take care of. Like,
Yes, sir.
so that's you can get eggs from that. You can get
Yes, sir.
chickens obviously from that.
Yeah, and so this is an interesting, and maybe Elizabeth has thoughts on this too. What are your thoughts, Deus, on, like, I guess it's kind of similar to what we were talking about a couple streams ago with pastoralism versus agriculturalism. So you can have a cow, you can slaughter the cow, and then you have meat for like a few weeks, and it's fucking awesome and delicious.
Probably longer than that.
Or probably, or you can continue milking the cow for like as long as the cow lives.
Or you do
Similar
both.
with
Like what they
chickens, like
so
so you do both.
what
Yeah. Okay.
so what they do in Norway a lot of the times, and in a lot of like Netherlands countries like Denmark and stuff, is they eat retired dairy cows. So what they
Okay.
do is they raise them and they keep them till they get to they milk them, and they treat them well, like pets basically almost their entire. And then when they get to be like 10, 15 years old, I don't know exactly what the lifespan is for a cow, but I think it's somewhere in like the 20-year range, just at the oldest. So when they get and it might be older, I'm not sure. But the point is, when they get old, they stop producing milk eventually. Like
Hmm.
they become an old lady cow, and then they eventually slaughter them and they eat that. And if you keep that cycle rolling, like if you have calves around, right, then you're always getting milk. And every season, you should have at least one cow that's old enough to be retired, right? And if you don't, I would imagine if you're raising cows, you have the infrastructure for other animals. So even if you didn't get even if one of your dairy cattle didn't retire in a season, then you could like just sustain yourself off of other meats until next season. But the point is that's something very smart they do in the Netherlands, is they eat retired dairy cows. Now it's a little less flavorful. It tastes a little more gamey. It's an old cow, right? Because normally we eat young cows. Like they're slaughtered when they're like 2, 3, maybe 4 years old or something. Mm-hmm. So they're like full grown, but they're young and their meat is vibrant. But like, so if you eat old cows, the meat's much darker and could have some bruising and stuff because, they're old and they've experienced things. So, but the point is it's smart. It's smart,
It's smart.
Because
and there's certainly nothing, it's certainly just as, it's healthy still. I mean,
it's healthy and the cow gets to live a long life of like a good life. And as long as like the owner's treating it well. And then you get milk and you get meat and all that stuff, just all of it,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And the meat's more, I believe, you don't have to hold me to this, but I believe the meat's a bit more nutritious too, because the older cow has like more matured meat inside of it, which is more healthy for you. It's like,
I guess that's where it's so critical to make sure that your cows are like organic cows, because the only thing with bioaccumulation is if they're feeding the cows chemicals and all sorts of weird shit, then
if you own them,
cow. Yeah, but if you own them, then
then you feed them the good stuff, like just straight grass and good stuff.
Yep.
A peanut butter crunch. I've seen videos of farmers. Cows love peanut butter crunch.
Oh, interesting.
Captain Crunch, some peanut butter crunch. They fucking love that shit. They eat it up there.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, so
that's chemicals,
but
it's fun.
So for now, we're going to talk about water real quick. So water obviously is like, we're 70% water. Water is life. Agua es vida. Water is everything. Deus and I are both desert dwellers, so we're especially sensitive to the necessity of water.
Yep.
Water.
In fact, we're so sensitive to it that if anybody that is not from around here, like if you're listening from far away, then maybe you don't know, but where we live in the whole Southwest, like a big deal is water contracts. Like the different states have contracts to water sources that we renew every 50 or 100 years. And we just renewed our water contract earlier, 5 or 6 years ago. But it was like a big deal when it came up, because it's this big,
because we're all fighting over the snow melt from the
water,
mountains.
And it's possible because California's got a lot of money. It's always a big fear that California could muscle us out of good water rights. But we sustained ourselves through the deal.
Okay,
I think our deal was the exact same. We just renewed the same contract that we've had for 100 years.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for water. I think water also holds energy and holds power. We've already talked about Victor Schauberger a bunch on the pod, but water, when it's agitated, when you agitate water, you activate the water, and then it has an electrical current to it. So then it's like living water. So I think it's always a good practice to
it also holds
always
memory.
Shake up your water and give it some good thoughts. Be like, I love you, water. Thank you, water.
Have you seen that documentary, The Water, the Secret Life, The Water, the Great
Dude,
Mystery?
I've watched that so many times. Not the Victor Schauberger one, but a different one.
Yeah, the one about the Japanese scientist that had the water and he yelled at it.
I haven't done my homework yet, brother. I haven't watched
That's just
it
it's a really famous documentary. So,
okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Water, the Great Mystery?
I do, yes. That's
so for anybody that
water
doesn't
has
know,
memory. Mm-hmm.
So if anybody doesn't know, what they did is this Japanese scientist took all these different samples of water, and then to some of them he praised the samples and said nice caring things to them, like I love you. And then to other samples he insulted it, screamed at it and yelled insults You're horrible. Fuck you. Like to the water. And then they froze it in like a machine, in like a super cooler that freezed it super quick, so they could capture what the water crystals look like. And then then they looked at the water crystals under a microscope, and the water samples across the board, and it's been recreated to my knowledge in other labs in different parts of the world. The water crystals that they were nice to were beautiful and symmetric, and they were healthy and full and strong. And then you looked at the water crystals that they had been rude and mean to, and the water crystals were shattered and deformed, and they had weak structures.
Yep.
I'm
I'm gonna bring in Yak Packer Elizabeth here again. So Yak Packer Elizabeth sent very beautiful letter, and she has these 10 takeaways from 2023 by Yak Packer Elizabeth. And since we're talking about the foundational nature of mental health, I wanted to feature what she said about culture, gratitude, and thinking. So culture, she said, I took it for granted that I grew up in the 70s and 80s. Our music was fun, our movies were romantic, and our fashion was fire. We inspired each other toward higher creativity and hair. We also danced a lot. Yes to dancing. We need to break out the headbands and hoop earrings and bring this high vibration way of life into 2024. I could not agree with you more, Elizabeth. It is so true. Yes, high vibration energy, baby. Yes, we can take matters into our own hands. When I got off the big pharmas, I was like, God damn it. Yes, like I feel fired up about it almost, because it was like I was like giving away some of my energy. And no shade, sometimes you got to be on the big pharmas if you're in really serious depression, and sometimes it can help you and stuff like that. Not medical advice, all that stuff. I respect everybody, but I started getting lumps on my body. When I started taking the big pharmas, and now I stopped taking the big pharmas and lumps are getting smaller. So that's
good.
Not medical advice, and I don't have proof of anything, but I'm just saying. But yeah, shout out Elizabeth. I love this letter. She says, gratitude. This year, I took 10 minutes in the morning to write a list of things I am grateful for, both good and bad. Gratitude seems to be the antidote to living in victimhood, which is not the hood I want to live in. It's very funny.
No.
It's interesting that she says she writes things she's grateful for, both good and, quote, bad. That's interesting. And if you want to like expound on that in the chat, Elizabeth, I'm curious to hear, like, you're thankful for like the challenges too. That's how I'm interpreting it. Like, you're thankful for the things that challenge you. Yeah, which is very much the Finnish Sisu. Finnish Sisu says life is a bunch of problems, so just fucking embrace the problems. Problems are not bad. Problems give you strength. Problems build character. Problems are kind of fun. Like, if you have the right attitude towards them, it's like, okay, this is kind of fun. Like,
well, just think of your favorite game. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Like I said, what?
Like you said about like using the energy. We take the energy from the animal, and then it's like you want to use it for productive, purposeful things. And it's like, so conquering problems, conquering obstacles, that's like a very good use of one's energy. And since life is a bunch of problems coming at you, it's like, okay, fuck it. Let's just enjoy it. And then she says, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, like, just think of your favorite game. I mean, like, is your favorite game going to be enjoyable if it's just easy peasy all the time? No, the better you get at a game, you go to like the medium difficulty, the hard difficulty, then you go to expert. Then beginner isn't like fun anymore. Just saying.
Yep. It's very true. It's very true. That's what makes games fun. Yeah, right. If it's all just like easy peas,
it's not a fun game.
And also, it's like the way I've kind of learned about life a little bit is it's hard to really know happiness unless you also know despair. It's like things by the contrast of the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you got to have problems so you can overcome the problems, so you can build character. So then like, now I overcame a problem, now I feel triumphant. Or like, like you said, like learning a new skill, helping your neighbor fix her car, like doing shit to like make the community work, make the community better. This is
Yeah.
like builds purpose, it builds meaning, it's a good use of energy, and that's what we got to do in 2024, because 2024 is going to be
small
fucking
business
insane.
out of your bedroom or something. I don't fucking know. Like if
Exactly.
you can make
You could
something
even
small or
try to create like barter systems too, and like different means of exchange rather than just purely frog skins too. That's an idea.
yes.
For thinking, Elizabeth says, the voices that we listen to are not always our own. Thoughts can take our asses down or take us where we are actually destined to go. Beliefs and thinking have the power to heal or hurt us. As a man thinketh seems very true. I find this very difficult to navigate, but I'm determined to get better at it. And I just want to say, Elizabeth, your beautiful character really shines through in this letter, that you're acknowledged that, like, yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult sometimes. But it is true that the voices that we listen to are not always our own. That is very fucking true. And there's been studies about schizophrenia that, like, schizophrenic voices, they're always negative. They're never positive. The voices that the schizophrenics hear in their head, it's always negative. So it's like you start to think, like, is this demonic stuff? I think maybe. Plus, you know what I mean?
I also want to say something else about that too. Like, it's she makes a very good point. And to expand on it, in my experience, that there are things that you may have, that you may hold, you know, very close to your heart, as far as like advice or, you know, something that happened in your past with someone that you respected very much, right? Like maybe your parents, or maybe like, you know, an older sibling, or just somebody that you would view as, like, in this case particularly, a parental figure, like a father or mother figure, like an older kind of like teacher dynamic. There are things that I've been told, or I have witnessed, or have like just seen occur, like maybe like an ex boss that was, I worked for a lot of small businesses in my life, so maybe an ex boss, like a business owner, an action they've taken right in business, or something, a piece of advice like my dad gave me when I was young about something, and I've gotten older in my life and realized that some of those things, like, you know, you say, yeah, but you know, it's always like that. I learned that lesson a long time ago. Like my dad told me a long time ago, this little bit of advice, and I've always held it to my heart and believed in it. And then you get older and you might realize that, like, that's bullshit. That what you were told is not true, you know? And, you know, you may not have, you know, it's not even there for like malicious reasons. It's just there because it's something that the person that told you, they may have believed it too. And maybe, you know, it could be something like bad. Like in my instance, like I love my father very much, but he's not great with his finances. And so there are things that throughout my life that, like, I have, you know, because what do you do when you're a kid other than just kind of have to believe what your parents tell you? But then the older I get, I realize, like, that's just not fucking true. And, you know, but it could be more serious than that. It could be like it could be something about, you know, against somebody else's, you know, culture, or like, you know, it could be like something racist, or it could be something, or it could be something, you know, about like, again, my mother, I respect very much, but like some of the advice that she has given me that worked for her, because she's purchased many houses in her life, like don't work anymore because of the way the housing market works. And I'm just saying that, like, there's things that older people tell you when you're young, right? And they kind of, there are saying, I don't know if this is true for everybody. I think it is. There are sayings and little snippets of like memory and like, you know, that essentially compound in their mind when they're thinking about things into just basically kind of like just feelings and like single individual thoughts that convey an entire idea. But the thing is that sometimes you have to really think and you're like, God damn, where did I pick up that idea? Or where did I pick up that thought? You know, because you think like, you know, that's how it's always been. And then you like start to realize like, maybe that's not how it's always been. and then, or how it is now, even maybe everything's changed. The point I'm getting at is like sometimes the voices in your head are put there at a very young age from, it's just kind of, this is kind of basic psychology, you know, and yeah, I mean, you get the point what I'm trying to make. You get the point that I'm
Yeah,
trying to make. Like,
I
yeah,
totally do. Yeah,
I think
it's
that
good.
answers.
You have to like apply discernment to the
You do
things that you've been told.
exactly. As you
Yeah,
get older, you have to take on the responsibility of parsing. Okay, so you've been taught all these things from these people. So now you have to get older and be like, I got to parse the knowledge.
right,
And people that
right.
don't parse the knowledge, that don't take the time to sort through, okay, how am I looking at the world? And are these individual faculties, these individual, like, these individual mechanisms that I'm kind of interacting like mentally with the world with, my views on, like, how the world should be financially, and how, race and religion, and how it should be as far as like we treat like the environment, you know what I mean? Like, and just
Yeah,
like on and on and on. How do we police people? How do we, just all these major. And so when you're thinking about, in your mind, you have like, you're interacting with these ideas with, the tools that you've acquired in your brain. And if people that don't take the time to parse through the knowledge that they have been kind of like injected with as they've gotten older, uh, they they risk they run the risk of falling into the trap of repeating all the mistakes
right, right.
that people before them made, and
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point. And I just want to say to listeners, I'm gonna get Dave's pop filter. I'm gonna get you a pop filter for your mic because
All right.
sometimes your mic pops, and I apologize, listeners. We're doing the
What
best
do you
we
mean
can.
pops?
We're on a budget over here. What'd you say?
So what do you mean by pops? What does that mean?
Oh, it's like when you speak kind of like into the mic, and then it makes a little pop sound, like.
Oh, okay.
So that's what this thing is, like a pop filter, kind of like helps
Totally,
to
totally.
prevent that. I just want to give a shout out because sometimes listeners are sensitive, so we'll figure it out. Okay, cool. Uh, I want to keep going now with the survive and
Yeah,
thrive,
yeah,
and
keep going with the letter.
I yeah, let's keep going with the letter, and then I want you, Dave, because you're the expert for like outdoor survival around here. Like I know some things. I did work in outdoor education for a bit, but you're like Mr. Expert Pants. So we're gonna take a little bit of time to talk about like if you want to go the route of like bug out into the wilderness. Deus is gonna help give some guidelines of like what to expect, some basics to like look out for, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's
But
finish
yeah.
this letter and then we'll get in.
Okay, cool. I'm going to read a couple more things from this beautiful letter by Elizabeth. So I want to read what she says about faith, technology, and healing. So for faith, she says, situations in our lives that we perceive as cruel, unjust, or unfair can oftentimes be the very thing God uses to humble us and teach us to surrender. Surrendering is necessary in order to navigate this life. On our own, humanity seems to make a mess of things. Couldn't agree with you more on that. Surrendering seems to be God's tool to help us clean up the mess. It's a very beautiful point about faith. I feel like it almost speaks for itself. I don't really have too much to add to that. Do you have any thoughts on that, Deus?
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And also
Yeah.
I don't want to keep interrupting either. I want to let you like finish the letter.
Okay, cool. I'm going to read what she
Yeah.
says about technology and healing. So for technology, she says, we have the power to say no to the offers we are being given by people who do not have our best interests at heart. The future being created for us is one that needs to be faced with critical thinking and free will. We opt in far too easily. Boom, Elizabeth drops the mic. That's fucking great point that we
Yeah.
do opt in way too easily. And yeah, like technology is an instrument. It's a tool. So you can use a hammer to drive a nail. You can use a hammer to beat people over the heads and go to jail. Like
Yep.
you got to use it to like fucking, again, be like purposeful purposes. And that's why like I'm thankful for the technology. It allows us to do live streams. but like I'm not just gonna be like, oh, I need the new Apple fuck you 80. I need to wait in line for this device, which is just a spy device, you know. So yeah, it's beautifully put. And then for healing, Elizabeth says, every system we have relied upon seems to be broken beyond repair. Agriculture, healthcare, medicine, education, retirement, fiat money, politics, etc. Perhaps this is our opportunity to choose an area of life that needs to be transformed and healed, then jump in and get to work to create something better. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm. And that's a good way too of, she also said in the chat, like, it helps reframe the bad into something useful. Like, yeah, you don't just sit and like it's fun to talk shit. We're going to still talk shit about stuff, and we're going to talk about all the current events, and we're going to make fun of
why just do that anyway?
Might as well do it here on the so-called president of the United States can't stop sniffing kids. He's just caught again sniffing kids. But it's like that shit is to a point, like in moderation, right? Because otherwise you get like kind of down, you get too overly cynical.
What sniffing kids in moderation?
I mean, like highlighting all the fucked up shit in the world, you know, like, because it is entertaining to a point, and like it is important to like be aware of what's going on, and it's important for like persuasion to like let people know that we live in a duopoly and that, you know, the electoral system is broken and all this kind of shit. But like if you just only dwell in like, oh, look how fucked up that is, look how fucked up that is, look how fucked up that is, then I think that can give rise to cynicism, and which gives rise to like inaction and depression, which then that's
plus,
like
plus you should, it's no bueno. Plus you should be too busy focusing on improving your situation. You know what I mean? Like to be spending too much time on dwelling on all that bad shit.
Yes, it's important too. And like I just want to say too, like I feel really happy with this live stream. Like when I was doing the preliminary, like setting up the live stream, all this stuff, sometimes I get in my head about like, oh, it's like sucks that I can't stream to YouTube because they censor my shit, or oh, I need to stream to this, that. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm very thankful for Rockfin. Rockfin's been good to me, so I'm good to Rockfin. And like the people that are going to see this are the people that are going to see it. And it just feels really nice to not stress out about like metrics and numbers. It just feels really good. It's like liberating. It's like, I'm going to do this stream because I enjoy it. You're my brother Deus. I love the Yak Packers. And that's why I'm doing the shit. And I'm not doing the shit to like, you know, this desperate thing to like, oh, I need clout. I need numbers. I need metrics. It's like, yeah, like it sucks when you're in survival mode and then you need to generate income and like you're worried about numbers and metrics. But there's something very liberating to just let it go. Just be like, you know what? I'm doing this because this is what I'm called to do. This is my passion. My brother Deus. Sylvie's going to come back on soon. And this is why I'm doing it. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well. Let's segue now into the Deus Bug Out in the Wilderness segment of Rim Country Radio, where Deus helps to prepare us for if you do feel, or you want it as an option, like you want it as an option, or you feel that's what you want to do. If shit really starts going haywire, you just want to bug out and camp out in the wilderness for a time. Deus, take it away. And I might jump up for a second, just really quick, and I'll be right back. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Deus? Like how can you orient people towards like who are thinking about this as an option? What are like some basics, fundamentals that people should keep in mind when preparing for this eventuality?
Well, you know, and it really depends on what exactly is going on. Like, what do we want to like kind of hypothesize about? Like, let's just
hypothesize on wilderness survival in general. Like, if you're
gonna
oh, you want a specific hypothesis?
Well, not like a
like
nail
let's say
down specific.
The supermarkets aren't working properly. Supply chain gets fucked up.
Yeah, so like not like a war, not like there's like a war going on necessarily or something.
No, I'm hoping and praying.
I mean, I guess one could be going on.
It could be going on. I'm hoping and praying that doesn't happen, but I do think that there's a possibility of supply chain interruptions.
Yeah,
severe ones. that are being, in my opinion, fabricated. They would be fabricated to try to force us into like a digital ID thing or whatever.
That's
But
probably true. That's probably the most likely thing, right?
yeah. So, because they're talking about the cyber polygon, they're talking about that shit, that there's going to be cascading series of cyber attacks and shit like that. And it's going to cause potential issues with the supply chain. So, like, one way to, like, not stress about that or, like, not feel fear about it is to be like, you know what? I am capable. Like, I can actually go and live in the wild,
in the wilderness. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, what I'll say is don't treat it like it's permanent. Don't try to do this because you're not gonna want to do this permanently. I'm somebody that does it for like fun on my off time, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to be out there permanently. You know, I like to come back to a house and take a shower and like lay on a couch.
Yeah,
And,
we all do.
I know that may sound very American, but even if
No,
it's
I
not
think
that,
that's
even if
universal. I think that's universal. I think
It is
people like
universal.
having homes. Yeah.
yeah, we built them everywhere, right? You know, different, like all over the world. But like the point is that so you need to have a goal beyond it. It needs to be like some sort of like you either need to be heading somewhere or have something. If it's if it's like total fuck, like the U.S. government is like fallen, they've just like, you know what, we gave up. Then like then you want to be in the mind frame of like, I don't know, trying to claim some land or something, like, you know, you want to be, and or, you know, ideally, you know, somebody, I don't know. The point is that it needs to lead to somewhere. You don't necessarily want to be doing this for the next 8 years, like trying to be running around the woods, like living off the land. Some people can, you know, there's like legends of like people live in the Appalachian Mountains, and like, you know, there's like this one dude that lived out in Alaska. That's a really cool story, but like old timer, but like, you know, it takes like special people. It's not me.
Yeah.
You know, I like to be around other people. I like to sit and like drink coffee at a cafe and talk to people.
Yeah.
But like, and even, and I'm not even talking about like New York City, like, you know, small town cafe. The point is, I just like to be with people, even if it's just one or two. The other thing I'd say on that note is that try to not go alone. Try to be with people. You want to be safety in numbers. It's always safety in numbers.
It's a good
And
point.
ideally, it's people that you're familiar with, trusted people, you know, loved
Yeah.
ones, friends, family, that kind of stuff. So, I guess the first thing is, let's see here. You really want to be on. So the most important thing when it comes to being outdoors that I have discovered, just in general, is land navigation. So people that are thinking about like, well, if thing gets rough, I can like put stuff in a sack, in a backpack, you know, get my car or truck, hopefully truck, you know, if you really are thinking about this, I imagine you're the kind of person that owns a truck, and drive out into the woods and, you know, make my way for like X amount of time. You need to have land navigation skills. It's going to be imperative. It's the most important thing when it comes to the outdoors. You'll be surprised how easy everything else is when you know where the fuck you are. When you're completely back-ass or lost, you're scared to death that you're gonna, you know, that you're gonna starve to death, let alone, you know, find your way back to safety. And the thing is that like, with land navigation, it allows you to, you know, look for certain things that you're going to need, like at least in Arizona. So this also will come with a preface that like, I don't necessarily know what the fuck I'm doing in Montana. So if you put me in Montana, I might just die pretty damn quickly. Cause you know, it's real cold in Montana and there's like different animals and like the land is not totally different, but a bit different. But like when it comes to Southwest and where we live and like the Colorado Plateau, like Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, California, Arizona, big section of America. I know for a fact that when you know about land navigation, you really start to get under your belt. You can get to high points, and I've been able to look out and be like, that's water right there. I know for 100% certainty that right there is water. And I could be on halfway up a mountain looking out a good 15 miles in the distance, and so you.
And how do you know that there's water? Do you actually see the water, or how do you know there's water?
Well, generally, because it's a bit greener than everything else.
Right.
It'll be low. It has to be low, because if it's not low, then it's not going to be close enough to the water table. So there's many instances where I've been up and seen like a nice low spot that looked just a touch greener than everything else. And, it may be because there's a lot of underground streams and creeks. They run underground. They don't run above ground, but every once in a while they pop up as like a little spring or like a little pond or something. And, I've been able to spot them from a distance. You also are able to you need to know where you're going. It's basically like the difference between being blind and being sighted. If you don't know how to read the land, then you're not going to know where you're going in the first place. And I know that seems obvious, but land navigation is not necessarily very immediately forthcoming. The best thing to do, and how I've developed my skills with land navigation, is to study topographical maps.
Yes, I was going to say topographical maps.
Yeah, and when you start to study topographical maps, you start to be able to build and then also hike those areas that you're looking at, and you start to be able to build little 3D models in your head of how and there's a word for it that I don't remember exactly, but you can kind of give yourself a bird's eye view of things. But yeah, you need to know, because you may be like, okay, hey, look, it's over there. Let's go over there. And then as soon as you come down off of that high point, you just could drop into a maze. And then you're like, okay, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden your head, you could be heading in the total wrong direction, not even know it.
Right.
What
are your thoughts on having an OG compass, not an electronic compass, in case because you're not gonna I don't know. OG compass.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
a compass is pretty slick. For sure. There's nothing wrong with a compass. And that's something that I even still have with me, although I generally don't use them very much because I'm pretty good at telling north, south, east, west. But you need to know those directions. So yes, an OG compass is essential in your kit.
And I guess this is something you can practice. I think it's called orienteering, right? Where you practice.
Yeah, this is called orienteering.
Yeah, you practice using an OG compass to find different things.
Land navigation.
Everything in life, you need to practice it if you're going to be decent at it. So if you're planning on, you want to be able to live in the wilderness, then you kind of have to practice it. You can't just wing it,
No.
And I know that is difficult for people sometimes. They got jobs and shit and commitments, but make some time and be purposeful porpoise and get out in the wilderness.
That's the thing. That's the thing about sitting around being lazy or getting up and being proactive.
Right.
And it doesn't come immediately. It's very easy to start doing twists and turns around hills and dropping down into washes and coming back out before you only need to be off. If you have to hike, if you see something that's 8 miles away and you start hiking towards it, then you only need to be off by 1 foot, every couple 100 feet.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're 500 or 600 feet off the target,
and
point. Yeah. And so, So land navigation is important. Also, it's speaking of being proactive, you need to have a spot pre-prepared. Because if you're gonna go out into the woods and try to escape something, be prepared for like everybody else in the whole goddamn world to be doing like the same thing.
Right.
And so like I personally have a lot of spots that just over the years from being like an outdoors guide and stuff like that I have kind of mentally noted and been like, that's a good spot that nobody would fucking ever be at. A lot of them are in the middle of nowhere that like I know how to get to, but maybe barely. I might still. There's a thing that guides do a lot. They'll turn to you at the beginning of a hike as a client and say, I reserve the right to get us lost. And so, I might reserve the right to get us lost, but I know some very nice deep spots that are all set up with, they got water, they got shelter. I don't mean like a house or something. I mean like a cave or like a,
Right. Yeah. Caves.
like trees
So
or something.
Caves are the shit. So having a good cave that you know about. They're scary, but they're amazing. Like they can handle. You could throw a hurricane at a cave. The cave's probably going to be all right. Caves are amazing.
Yeah.
And then you build a fire.
Lighters.
Oh, this is a survival tribe tip from Little Raven. So fire, I'm a fire sign. I love fire. Fire is essential. It's a bitch to start a fire with a flint and that shit. Like I do know how to do it and I have done it, but it fucking sucks. It takes a long time. Have lighter, like shit tons of lighters. I have so many lighters. I just order like 20 packs of lighters. I hoard lighters, matches, lighters. Like have matches you can light when they're wet. They make special matches you can light when they're wet. Cause like you're gonna need to build the fire. Fire is essential. Also, you're gonna need to maybe smoke a doobie. Hopefully you bug out to wilderness, you got some ganja with you, or some tobacco or whatever. So yeah, just having like the fire, and don't feel like you need to like, because like working in outdoor education, there's this whole thing of like dudes with egos who are like, I'm fucking badass and I can make my own. It's like, yeah, we get it. Like you can make a fire from scratch, but it fucking sucks. It takes a long time. Way easier to just have a lighter.
Yeah, and I do it every night.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of time. Like, and that's the thing. Like when you're living out in the woods, like time is precious. You only have so much daylight. You have to conserve. For nighttime, light, like candles are really useful. Headlights, like then you start talking about like if you've got like devices, you're gonna hopefully want them to be rechargeable, and you hopefully have like some little solar panels.
Well, and if you have
to charge it,
if you have established something that is like semi, like nice and cozy, like in a cave, or like you've gone out there and like built a little rock shelter for yourself or something. Like you've seen videos of dudes doing like bushcraft dugouts and stuff, but like some of them make nice little shelters for themselves. Then you can just keep a fire going. You know what I mean? Just always have a fire going. Never put it out, even if it's small. You can like just keep it going in the middle of the day very lightly, so that way you don't have to keep making a new fire. You just keep it going and going and going.
Yes. That's a good call. If you can't find a cave, what are some good ways of creating shelter for yourself? I know like using the boughs of like evergreen trees is a good one. Hopefully you have like some tarps. And some like tarps, maybe, yeah.
Ideally, well, if you're gonna like actually make it yourself, like, and you're hoofing it, and you don't have like a vehicle with tools in it and stuff like that, then if you have a truck or something, then and enough preparedness and enough if you had enough resources, then you could have some light carpentry equipment inside of your truck and a generator. You drive out in the middle of fucking nowhere and you technically build yourself a log cabin. Like, if you got nothing but time on your hands, you know, like society crumbled, like, you know, all the power keeps going off and they can't keep it on, and like there's riots in the streets because nobody can get food, and like you know, whatever the situation is, like and you just, if you're up in the woods and you're trying to make it, like yeah, I mean, like ideally if you had like a vehicle, like a truck, and you had the ability to have some light carpentry tools, I mean, you could technically, depending on yourself, like build yourself a fucking little house. But outside of that, if you're hoofing it, then you're going to want to have like a hatchet on you for sure, and a saw. You've seen those collapsible saws? Get a good one, like a good collapsible, like bushcraft woodworking, like a outdoor saw. And those two things are going to be better than a knife for sure. And then the best thing is to go for like a dugout, you know, where you dig out half of it. So that way you don't have to build like the walls very much. You want to like dig out in the ground and then line it, you know, maybe with rocks or something. And then you could like put a roof on it with like a little bit of like extra wall or something, depending on how high you are and how much you want to dig down. And then you could just, you know, you do it out of sticks. And then in Arizona, I don't know how this works in Montana necessarily, like I was saying earlier, but in Arizona, you can find, it depends on where you are, but hopefully if you're in northern Arizona, like you're not like out, I don't know what you're doing if you're out in the fucking, by like, you know, in the dunes, like out in the desert.
Right.
That was stupid. You should have went north, not south.
Yeah.
But like, so assuming you're like up in the woods, you can find beds of moss that you can roll up just like they do over on the East Coast, and like put like a stick thing down and like unroll the sticks of moss. If you had tarps on you, which would be super slick, then yeah, you just have to build like a simple wood for, I mean, just like a eighth, like your classic wood. Like make sure you have rope on you, or at least like some leather, like they make the leather lace or leather strapping, you know, like leather basically, like rope. Have some sort of lashing on you of some kind, so you can like tie the shit all together. You know, cut notches in the woods, like before you lay them against each other, so they fit nice. Like, you know, you remember Lincoln Logs, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So put like notches and shit, so when they mate, you know, that way they mate. You just use your brain and notch it up, so they mate nice. It'll, because that way the lashing just has to, because you don't want the lashing to try to hold the sticks together for like this, because the lashing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
If you just notch it even a little bit, if you notch it, now the lashing with the rope, it just needs to hold the sticks together, and then the notches will keep it from bending. The point, yeah. So always notch that shit. You should have nothing but time on your hands at this point, because you're in the middle of the fucking woods, and it doesn't matter because the grocery stores don't have food. So,
and then
you know, you're gonna be
like obviously you need to be camped near like a water source of some kind.
So,
and
yeah,
you need to filter the water, so you need to have either like a life straw, or I like the Sawyer water filtration for hiking.
So
yeah,
those are nice, but this is long term. So what you're going to be doing is boiling water.
Okay.
You're just going to be boiling it. That's all. Like it's the only way you could do it in the amounts that you need it, like for the amount of time you need to do this for. Because eventually a Sawyer filter element needs to be replaced. And even the most, like I have a Catadine filter, which is like a really super Gucci high-end like water filter. You know, and even that I need to replace the filter on it. And what happens when I have to replace the filter? It's like, and can't go to the city. It's now useless. So no, you just boil it. Boilet's more effective anyway.
So you're gonna need to like have a lot of wood to keep the fires going
Fire's
this
life.
stuff. Yeah.
We just have electricity now, which is the same thing. It does all that shit for us now instead of the fire.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
It is just it's like electric fire. It's the same exact thing. But like fire's
And,
life. And yeah, you're gonna need this. You need to establish. You need to find somewhere. So you need to find somewhere before this happens that you can establish that, like, because right now you can't establish, obviously, because like a lot of shit is like a national forest or it's like whatever, you know. Basically, somebody will come along and be like, "Yo, you can't live here." You know, eventually a forest ranger will show up and be like, this isn't legal. You need to get the fuck out of here. There are certain places that are BLM and like squatters' rights and all that. But those places generally, not always, but generally fucking blow. There's a reason no one's claimed them yet. It's 2024. So there's a reason nobody has like squatted that place up in like the 200 plus years we've been a country. And that's because it fucking sucks and no one's to live. There's no water. There's no plants. There's nothing. There's no reason to squat on it, no reason to live on it. So like what I'm getting is like everything that is like fucking useful is pretty much like people own and live on. You got to respect people's private properties during this process too. When you get up into the woods and you start moseying around looking for a place to hunker down at, I mean, obviously beforehand, before society crumbles, because society hasn't crumbled yet, and you got to respect people's property. But like, even when society crumbles, and technically property lines don't mean anything anymore, like in a legal sense, like, you know, the dudes that live up north are going to be way more prepared than you for this. And that's why they live up north. They already live up north, and they have that shit. They own like, you know, 40 acres and a cabin. Like that's where they're living. Like they're ready. And so like you show up on their property, they're going to fucking blow your face off. That's all I'm saying. Like you might have a gun. Maybe you outgun them. Hey, and if it's really society crumble time, you just got a new house. I mean, that's really how that works. But don't go around hunting people. That's wrong.
That's wrong, yeah. And
Unless
hopefully,
you
I don't know.
Unless you live by Bill Gates. If you live by one of those motherfuckers, then yeah, happy hunting. Take his mansion or whatever. But like, don't roll up with some motherfucker that lives up in the woods has been preparing for this whole time, you know, and shoot him in the face. Like, especially if he's got a family in the house. Like, it's gonna be all we gonna do, exterminate his family next. It's gonna be awful. Like, all I'm saying is like, respect people's property as much as you can. Yeah. Hey, you never know what happens in the after times. If the apocalypse goes down, if you respect some motherfucker's property and like you find a patch of like that's technically like a park, like national area. Because again, if society crumbles, now forest rangers aren't patrolling the woods. You know what I mean? They're not like patrolling the woods, kicking you out of places. And if they do, guess what? Society's crumbled. You get to shoot that fucking forest cop that we used to call them woods cops. You find a forest ranger, they're woods cops. And like as a guide, we used to call them woods cops. So if you find a woods cops and the government's not in control anymore, you could just kill that guy. So don't worry about him anymore. So
I mean, I'm also hopeful that people are not everyone's gonna be out just like for blood. Like there's a lot of like really good.
I'm not out for blood, but if I find if I go to one of the spots that I have already found, I have tons of spots that if I go to my number one, I got a number one and number two. You know, I got A, B, C, D. So if I go to A, and a forest ranger goes, "You can't be here," I'm gonna pull out my gun, my shotgun, my fucking AR, whatever it is, and be like, "You have two choices, and you know what they are." You know, like we're not going to go through all this. Like you can walk away or you can start to run your mouth again because I'll blow your face off. Like I'm here, you know, the food gross. What I'm talking about is like the grocery stores have ran out of food, you know, and there's people running around in the streets, like killing each other for shit, you know, for food. And like, you know, and I'm not going to wait until that exactly. I'm going to try to be out of town. I'm going to try to read the signs and be at least a week or two ahead of the actual riots and like that kind of shit. I'm not saying this is coming. I'm saying this is the scenario we're working with, right? That like we got to bug out into the woods because, this shit's not sustainable anymore. It obviously ain't. It hasn't been sustaining for a while. But, and now there really is no food in the grocery stores, which is the key thing here. That really is what it comes down to, yes?
Yeah.
Like, food in the grocery stores. When the food runs out,
Yeah.
shit gets weird.
No, you're
It's
absolutely
really,
correct.
really weird.
And it's part of the mental
historically.
preparedness thing. Like we're not talking about this to try to fearmonger, make people like worried, or even say that we
I'm not
think
saying
this
it's
is
gonna
going to happen. Like we're hoping and praying it doesn't happen, but like as part of like
I
mental
don't necessarily even
preparedness,
foresee it, but
because
like,
then
I
you
don't.
gotta be prepared for like all eventualities, and that
Yeah.
helps you to like not freak out too, because the fucking ruling class is always trying to scare you. So anytime they have any chance, you turn on news and it's like it's a snowstorm or something, and they're
Like-
like, oh, it's the fucking Armageddon because there's snow
To-
coming down from the sky. It's like
Yeah.
they're always trying to scare you. So just being like having a level head about you and thinking about these
So-
things logically and rationally, it
Yeah.
helps you.
Exactly. And to be clear, like I actually do think this is going to come someday. This system is just not sustainable. But I actually do not see it happening for I would even say close to 20 years. Like, it could be sooner than that, but like eventually there's just going to be a time when this country cannot sustain what it's doing. And I'm not going to say it's going to be 100 years of dark ages, but there will be some sort of like, even if it's a small one, some sort of collapse at some point. Like I said,
some sort of balkanization. Then you have like provisional governments, which that's never good. Anytime you have
Nah.
like provisional governments popping up, and it's just never
And-
good.
and it
So
could-
it's just
and it could be controlled. It could be like, the global homo fucking new world order bullshit, their gay ass agenda where they want to
Yeah.
fucking try to, and the 2030 thing, you'll own nothing and be happy.
yeah.
And so again, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I do not foresee like a Mad Max where we're literally just like living in war tribes for now on kind of thing. But, my timeline is 2030. I want to be prepared. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what 2030 you'll own nothing and be happy means. But I want to be in a situation by 2030, which is 6 years from now. That's my time frame where I feel comfortable walking away from society. That's like always been my working time frame.
And
And
Elizabeth,
who knows what the 2030 really means, but
Elizabeth just said in the chat, she said, "Y'all can come to my farm. I won't turn you away. Just bring your skills." So
Well, that's
fuck
cool.
yeah,
hell yeah,
we appreciate that, Elizabeth. You're the best.
that is very
And
cool.
I'm getting kind of tired, so I think we're gonna bring the stream to a close. But
Sure.
I wanted to share something with you, Deus, and with the listeners. We're gonna take a trip to a groovy party right now, and so again, I've been dancing a lot, and I find that it's like really good for my mood. Just even like dancing in my apartment, dancing at the park. Just like don't feel foolish about it. Like how Elizabeth said, like culture used to, like in the 70s, like people were dancing, having a good time. Also, cultures, societies, like from all times, all places, they get together around the fire and they dance around the fire. That's like what humans do, because it makes us feel good, and it's a way that we can like take our mood into our own hands. If you have like a lover, partner, friends, dance with them, burn some incense, fucking, enjoy your life. So I want to play this I'm going to let this play for 4 minutes. And I chose this clip specifically, A, because it's groovy and awesome and rad, and B, because the DJ, Tinzo, she mixes in some stuff, which is like very like wise, some wise thoughts, which pertains to what we've been talking about today. So that's how we're going to bring it to a close. I'll stop it and then we'll say goodbye really quick. But yeah, I want to play this for Deus and everyone, and I encourage everyone to like dance, don't feel shy. Doesn't matter if you're by yourself.
Wait, are you playing? Is this like playing us out?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let this play for 4 minutes and then I'll unshare, and then we can say goodbye.
Okay, and we'll do the debrief.
All right. Here we go, everyone. Let's dance.
Trying to figure out where they gonna sleep, where they gonna get their next meal. I mean, you name it, it's going on. When you get to look at that people that really have stuff versus the ones that's really struggling and trying to hold on to what they have. And I'm just reflecting on growing up. Seemed like the less that we had, we was at our best. This is real what I'm talking about, and this is the wake-up call. We shared more when we had less.
We shared more when we had less, baby. So true. Days, you're not moving your body, baby.
I'm moving it.
This DJ is Tinzo, Tinzo. She fucking throws it down.
You know, when I look at how I grew up, for a long time I didn't even know how poor we were because we never went without. It seemed like we had so much when we had so little. We shared more when we had less. In the hood.
You mean, do you fade out?
So there you go, Daves. And yeah, I did the fade out. Yeah, I just think it's so true what that gentleman was saying. Like, and I live in like a low income part of the city, and it's like, yes, I have like my one crazy neighbor that does dark magic and shit like that, but fuck him. And then I'm totally good with all the rest of my neighbors, and we like support each other and help each other out. And like, sometimes it's true, like you share more when you have less. And that's part of like the mindset, I think, for 2024 and onward, is like you being thankful for what you do have and being in a mentality of like, I am going to share, I'm going to be generous with what I have, rather than just always striving for more. Kind of like with me, like letting go of the metrics and letting go of YouTube censoring my shit, just being like, no, I'm just going to do this because this is what I love to do. It's like very liberating. And it's like, we do have a lot to be thankful for. And we do live in like, even though shit's so hectic and haywire, like there is a lot of abundance. So switching your mind frame and sharing more, even if you have less, I think is a good start for a happy and healthy 2024.
I think it's a good message.
So-
But don't buy the own nothing, be happy BS either.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what, like, fuck all of that. All the fucking bullshit with that. Because they're talking about taking everything for themselves and leaving us with
Exactly
nothing.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the people having abundance. I'm talking about eating meat, having good meat, having like regenerative fucking farms, and living good lives of abundance. And also just like, I just like the mentality of like, you can share more even if you quote have less. And it's amazing like how that meant like it switches the whole mentality. Like that's how you always hear about people who are like poorer people typically are like have really good hospitality and are really generous, even though maybe all they have is like a loaf of bread, but they're gonna fucking share that bread with you. Then you go somewhere else, someone has all this money, all this resources, live in a mansion, they're fucking stingy and hanging on to everything. And it's like that's a really good recipe to be miserable and to have no friends. So
I mean, I agree with you, but it's also not a coincidence. You know, people that I'm basically just about to parrot exactly what you just said. People that have lots of money tend to not value people. They tend to value their fucking money. And so because of that, they just, they obsess over it. And so,
it's like
they eventually like grow these special powers where they're able to just like never fucking lose money ever.
right.
And then it becomes a real problem when they're running a whole fucking country.
Yes, exactly.
But
so on that note,
I do just want to recap what I was talking about with survival, and because it's important. People, if you're listening to me, and even if you're not a professional yet at bugging out, even if you don't think you'll make it in the woods very well, you need to start getting ready, for like a potentiality like that. Not that it's going to happen, but like, it's weird out there. I mean, remember COVID? Like, to be honest, when COVID happened, I actually did go camping for a whole month. Like when the restrictions were the worst, I went up into the woods for like a month and I just camped.
Fuck yeah.
But like, if shit was even 2, 3, more 10 times worse than COVID, like another event happened, you might feel like you're safer to being outside, out in the woods. All I'm saying is that you want to find that spot now. That's probably the biggest takeaway from, and we can come back to this because there's tons more information about surviving in the woods. But like,
we're going to have more Survive and Thrive episodes, definitely.
But you need to get out there, because it's going to get you in the sunshine and get you active and like working your muscles, like hiking around, and it's going to be healthy for you just being out in the woods, like and connecting to nature. But 2, you find the spot now, and you need to find a spot. Like you find a good spot. You find a good spot on a Wednesday. Like if you had a free Wednesday and you went up there and you were like, oh, this is a spot that I don't, you hiked in real far and you're like, I don't think anybody would come here. You come back on a Saturday and you make sure nobody's going to be there, because Saturday is when everybody goes up north. And so you find the spot now.
Right.
That way, because I'm telling you, if you got to do it last minute, if all of a sudden like everything goes to shit and you got to like drive up north, you're not finding a spot. There's already going to be 100 million dudes with their RVs. They're all going to be parked everywhere. And it's what happened during COVID. When I went up there and camped, there was already like 100 million dudes from the city up there in their RVs. They'd already taken up almost every spot. So you got to find it early. Right. Find it before now. Find it now. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the most important takeaway.
Fuck yeah. I love it. I appreciate you, Deus. I learned some stuff today. I hope the listeners learned some stuff. I want to thank Shim. I want to thank Elizabeth. I want to thank all the yak packers out there. Elizabeth, thank you again for this beautiful letter. And I might feature the rest of your little segments in another future episode. I am going to play us out with some music. I was thinking, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to play us out with some music today. So I'm going to end the stream by letting this friggin' groovy ass mix end the stream for us. I'm gonna let it play for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And I encourage everyone again to, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna let this play.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a smoke.
And, and I encourage everyone to dance, dance more and fret less. That's my little Raven's recipe for a happy and healthy 2024. Dance
find
more,
the bug out spot.
Fret less, find the bug out spot, get an OG compass, get a water barrel too to catch water. If you don't have that already, get like a big barrel. Like I have my big barrel to catch the water when it rains. That's really nice. And fucking A, let's live, let's be happy, let's not let these New World Order fucking psychos make us miserable, and fuck corporate news, and I love you, Deus, and now we're gonna continue on with DJ Tinzo, groovy disco and R&B mix. Here we go, baby.
Play it up.
In the hood. More
like I'm punching underwater, and I'm not in my disasters. Like Africa, my moon, tell me what to do. Lady, that chip that's sitting on my shoulder has been the one holding me under. There's ditches in the depths, there's promise on the surface. Even if this world's a lie, there's nothing more that I desire.
Yeah, baby. Let's party in 2024. Let's not be all fucking strung out and depressed all the time. Even though sometimes you get depressed, but then you just gotta work through it. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And some might say you only know happiness through the contrast with when you're upset. So there's a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for the yak packers. I'm thankful for my body, my immune system, this beautiful planet we live on, and the beautiful animals that I've been eating and feeling much better since I started eating them. So, oh man, it's so good. It's like I don't want to stop it. Tinzo freaking throwing it down right now. 2024. I refuse to be scared. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna thrive. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. I love and appreciate everyone. I got to go hit up the laundromat right now. So I'm signing off, but I'm gonna dance while I do the laundry. I'm just gonna keep dancing because why not? Life's too short. And we'll be back on the air real soon. Rim Country Radio, Barbarian Noetics Podcast, Barbarian Yak Fest. Much love, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Dance more, fret less.
Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was?
My father didn't know his last name. My father got his last name from his grandfather, and his grandfather got it from his grandfather, who got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were destroyed during slavery.
Was there any line, any point in the genealogy of your family when you did have to use the last name? And if so, what was it?
The last name of my forefathers was taken from them when they were brought to America and made slaves. And then the name of the slave master was given, which we refuse. We reject that name today.
You mean you won't even tell me what your father's supposed last name was or gifted last name was?
I never acknowledge it whatsoever.
Love Doves, well, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate all of y'all for sharing some headspace with us. This was the inaugural edition of Rim Country Radio with Deus Ex Machinist. Rim Country Radio is where survivalism meets esotericism, meets off-grid living, meets cultural critique, meets resuscitating this moribund-ass republic, and holding the predator class to account. I do not consent to bankers' wars to pad the vaults of the already way too fucking rich. They suck everything out of our shit. They suck the money out of our economy. They stash it in offshore bank accounts. They stash it in gold bullion. And fuck the predator class. There are way too many good people in this country, good, beautiful, strong people in this country, for this country to be behaving the way it is around the world. I am done with the two-party illusion. I am done with being brainwashed and propagandized, and I encourage all the love doves to look within as well and find that inner strength, that inner wisdom, and the divine spark that is within all of us. So, as y'all know, the Barbarian Noetics podcast, and Rim Country Radio for that matter, is listener supported. So if you do have a few extra bucks rattling around your bank accounts, I could really use the help. Honestly, the best way is the direct donate. So that's all the links are in the description, but the direct donate on PayPal, barbarian.noetics@proton.me on PayPal, or Barbarian Raven on Cash App. Those are the best ways. You can also become a patron. You get bonus content. You get a dream interpretation when you sign up. That's patreon.com/noetics. Any support really means the world. Most importantly, though, just listening and being there and being present and spreading the word and telling a friend, letting folks know about the Barbarian Noetics podcast, letting folks know about Rim Country Radio. Y'all are the best. We're going to keep these episodes coming. I got a few more already in the on deck circle ready to roll for the feed. So stay tuned. We're just getting started, and I love you all, and let's just keep getting better every day. All right. Much love. Peace.
I'm building my legacy. Text from my heroes, hate legacy. Shakespeare in my pockets got legacy. Foreign land with my brother, that's pedigree. Cause we
work hard, play hard. We work for the days off. Make time to take off. Circle right back for the payoff. Oh, work hard, play hard. We work, now we pay up. Make time to lay up. Ain't worried about what anybody says. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go play. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go play. My big sis just finished that scroll. Let's go. Baby mama got a new job. The homies, we don't move these people out of do. And me and Smokey been banging at your boombox. Stay close, take notes, we in the zone. Nigga, 2 words, hard work, what we been on. It ain't no denying this divine timing. Been applying pressure, now we buying diamonds.
Second home, Hawaiian Islands, ain't no pantomime. We leave in December, go where sun is shining. Can't go through the motions. Feel like the guardians of the Pacific Ocean. I'm mixing potions que son 700% con gas. Tequilas y mentiras, filas de gas. Mira, estamos en otra liga de paz. Estamos enfrente, empezamos detrás. Cause we
work hard, play hard. We work for the days off. Make time to take off. Circle right back for the payoff. Oh, work hard, play hard. We work, now we paid up. Make time to lay up. Ain't worried about what anybody says. It's okay, it's okay. Let's go play. It's okay, it's okay. Let's go play.
Listen, I heard a voice that told me get rid of your inhibition. At least just momentarily. It's hard to do charity without letting go and your soul get to feeling fictitious. I need to cleanse my palate, break a rule and get balanced. Aches and pains until she get naked and woo me in palace. Do something new, open the curtains, the view from the terrace. Looking like magic, hope a spectator catch it and staring. Look in her eyes, nothing to hide, even embarrassed. No windows in the garden. And if you see that snake, you better not disregard it. You wearing so little clothing for it to be art. Lil' mama, bring me your summer, I kiss on your blossom. We be working hard.
Work hard, play hard. We work for the days off. Make time to take off. Circle right back for the payoff. Oh, work hard, play hard. We work, now we paid up. Make time to lay up. Ain't worried about what anybody says. It's okay.